Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Mobile Weekly / Mobile Q&A, where we go over all latest news that happened during the week of mobile and tech and answer your questions live. If you have a question you want to ask, just ask it in the comment section down below, and I will try to answer it before the end of the show. Now, first and foremost, I do apologize if my voice gives out on me. I have been sick for the past 4 days about now. Basically my throat has just been done. I don't know if it was just I had a live stream on Newegg for 2 hours. My voice was already raspy, and it just never has recovered for 4 days going. So hopefully I sound better, because I'm trying to record a video after this. So hopefully I sound as good as can be, but apologies if I do not sound 100% on this video. Now, I did want to start off the video by talking about the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Now, I do not have the phone with me, but if you haven't checked out our recent videos, I did about 4 videos on it so far. And I should be publishing a new one either tomorrow morning or Tuesday, and basically telling what the first part of the title was. And that is the Galaxy S23 worth the upgrade? And it is. It legit is. I feel like a lot of reviewers are basically in the camp of, no, it's not. Like, oh, they didn't change enough. They didn't do enough. They didn't do all this stuff. Average consumer is always the thing, right? That's the thing that people like to say, and also, people hate hearing it. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, I've always said there are 2 things that people care about no matter what in a smartphone. And that is, 1, if a person walks into a smartphone store, says, I don't care what phone you give me, just give me a phone. Okay, sir, did you want one that will last you the whole day? Yeah, I don't want to have to go to a charger. I don't want to have to recharge in the middle of the day. Yes, I want a really good battery life. Okay, is there anything else you would need? Do you want to be able to take good photos? Oh, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, as long as I can take a photo here and there. And okay, I'm like, all right. Do you want to be able to take photos in low light and video? Well, yeah, I have pets, kids, whatever. And yeah, low light, now that you mention it, when I take photos in the dark, they're always grainy. Do you have anything that's not grainy? These are the 2 things that everyone cares about pretty much. It's not speed, right? Speed, every smartphone is pretty much as fast as we need it to be now. Like, you wait milliseconds maybe in a difference of between the Snapdragon Gen 1 and the Snapdragon Gen 2. Like, it's not really going to change much. But what people care about, what people actually care about, is battery life and camera quality. And here's where I'm going to tell you. There is a big change from year over year. The S23 Ultra is going to give you 2 to 3 hours longer battery life than the S22 Ultra. 2 to 3 hours. And that's using it while streaming, that's using it while heavy usage. And that's before I get my hands on it and show you how to get 5 more hours of battery life. So, if you want a battery life that's going to last you till the next day, that's the S23 Ultra. And yeah, I'll get you there. I will. I promise. But the other thing is the fact that, dang it, this is one strand. The other thing is the fact that the camera quality, stabilization, best in the industry now. There is not even anyone close at this point. The stabilization on this phone for shaky hands, shaking camera, it is the best in the industry. 2, it is so good for its selfie taking with its dual pixel camera because it focuses better than any other selfie out there. 3, the low light really is good, but that is where actually the 200 megapixel makes a difference. Because if you have a 200 megapixel in low light, you don't have to rely on the zoom for a 10x or a 3x optical that's going to suck in low light. That is what makes the difference. And 4, it is going to take longer to take a photo in the 50 megapixel and 20 and 200 megapixels. So it's not perfect. It's not. That can be changed with software. And while you should never buy a phone based on what could happen later, it's one thing to know that you should think about that. But the photo quality that I was getting out of that phone really, really was impressive, especially for the ability of how good the quality was, good and ready, by pointing and shooting and doing nothing else. But when you knew what you were doing, like those tips I always give on how to upgrade your camera quality, it's something else. So yeah, stay tuned for when we actually go through it, when we actually do all that kind of stuff and everything. So the first question is it worth the upgrade? I will say for most people, you will genuinely be happier with the S23 from your previous phone. That's it. You will generally be happier. But there's a problem, isn't there? And one that Samsung has gotten a lot of flack for, especially because every reviewer out there was singing their praises a week ago, 2 weeks ago, month ago. We were all saying one thing very clearly. You want to get the pre-order. You want to get Samsung as soon as you can. Because why? Because Samsung has, say it with me, what every reviewer said, the best trade-ins in the industry. Their trade-ins are the best. They give you the most value for your phone, everything, yada, 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 yada. And what happened? Samsung lowered all the trade-in values for this phone. Like, it is a backlash that is real. It is definitely out there, and rightfully so. There's also this weird saying that some hot takes going around that, oh, watch, this is going to help the resale value. Process thinking that, oh, well, more people are going to keep their phone. That means there's going to be less in the market, yada, yada, yada. No, that's not how economics work. Yes, supply and demand is a thing for sure. But when the company themselves is telling you this is what the phone is valued at, go on eBay. The Flip 4, all used ones, have gone down 2 weeks. I know because that's what I was trading in. So no, it's not it's going to create more demand. It's going to, all that kind of stuff and everything like that. Nope. That's not how economics work. Perception is more than supply and demand. If something is perceived to be at a certain value, that means more than the supply and demand will be. So that is something that Samsung is aware of. I'll tell you right now, they know that there is a thing. But apparently Samsung's customer service is also putting that feedback up. And apparently multiple customer service reps and, who knows how far this will go, but are letting Samsung know that people are upset with these trade-in values and that are recommending a higher trade-in value. Now, this is very interesting because, to be fair, Samsung didn't raise the prices on their phone, right? They didn't increase the prices of their phone. They actually did it in reverse, where it was like, we're not going to raise the price of our phone. We're just going to give you less for the trade-in, So that is like, well, you didn't raise the price of the phone, but now I'm not getting as much for my trade-in. A phone, I forget. I think I'm getting like 400. I think I'm getting for my Flip 4. That one last year for sure would have got me like, I think probably 700. So yeah, this is a whole thing. and it's definitely there. But I just wanted to give those two sides because those are two videos that are coming up this week. And I think, you're getting a lot of, oh, the trade-in value isn't that good. That's fine. It's not even worth really upgrading to it. It is. It is completely worth upgrading to. It is completely worth upgrading to this phone. So stop letting them lie to you. The upgrade is well worth it for this phone. I'm telling you that right now. If you go from a Note 20 to this phone, night and day difference in terms of your battery life and your camera quality. You will notice every shot, and you will notice every day your battery life. So don't let them lie to you and tell you it's different. It's not. It's completely different. It will be a noticeable difference that will make a difference to you. It will. But these trade-in values really have hit a lot of people hard, especially because, again, reviewers were, me, Pocket Now, how many, Greggles, H2 Tech, all, like, there's so many people that were singing the praises of Samsung's trade-in values and how good they were. And then that happened. And we were all just like, what? Yeah, it's something else. So I just needed to open with that because, one, everyone's going to have their own opinion on this. Is it worth the trade-in value? And I'm telling you, it probably is worth it. It is probably, you will notice the difference, and I don't say that lightly, but I know I've been around enough people. I've seen what people use their phones for, and when those two categories have that much of an upgrade, it's worth it. It is. But the trade-in value is a sore spot for a lot of people right now, and I am one of them. I'm one of them. I'm not happy that I'm only getting, I think it was 400 or 450. I forget what I'm getting for my Flip 4. But I'm not happy I'm only getting that much. I was really taken aback by that. And I didn't get a free phone from Samsung. Samsung didn't send me a free phone. So I think you'll see that kind of like people being upset about it, the ones that didn't get the free phone. Like, I was there with a lot of influencers, right? But, the ones that got the free phone, maybe they're mad, maybe they're not, but they definitely are if you didn't get one, I feel like. So yeah. All right, guys. So that was it. And obviously, look, there's other trade-ins you can go to. You can go to Best Buy. You can go. I think the website that I used to like was It's Worth More. They are giving like $375, so it's right below what Samsung was giving me, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, there are other ways. Google Fi, if you switch over to them, they're giving you like $600 without a trade-in value. And you can do it on their prepaid plan. So there are trade-ins you can definitely do out there, but that is the thing. Now, to be fair, Samsung is also giving you $150 for the credit, but even that kind of changed. If you click the link in the description, I have the link if you want to get it at Samsung's website. They give you $150 worth of credit right now, but one thing you should know is that you have to use that credit right away. So for myself, I end up getting a Galaxy Watch 4 because both my daughter and my wife, since we moved, cannot find their smartwatches. So I was like, okay, I'll get one and one of them will take it. And that'll be the 150 credit. So that'll be what I use it for. But I couldn't save it for later. I couldn't do that. So again, some things have definitely changed. Because before you could have saved it for later and like purchased something within 30 or 40 days or something like that, but couldn't do that this time. So yeah, there you go. That's going to be two things that I would say in terms of that. And now let's get to some of the articles. Just wanted to start off with that because obviously I knew the whole Samsung event that I was at, Unpacked event, and obviously the phones, everyone kind of wants to know about them, so I wanted to start off with that. Now I will get to all of your questions. I see the comment section going. I will get to them before the end of the show. We're going to go through 3 articles real quick, go talk about those, and then we will get to your questions. So keep firing them in if you haven't already. but I do try to get to every single question in the comment section, and we have Quiet Storm as our moderator to make sure everyone is being nice in the chat as well. Sorry, I'm already feel like I'm losing my throat. All right, let's get to the first bit of news, and that is the Nothing Phone 2. So Nothing Phone is pretty interesting. I never got to try out the Nothing Phone 1. I thought the design was interesting, and I thought it was a good start, but you know me, I have a policy where if it's not going to work in the US or if it's not sold in the US, I am not an influencer that gets all these phones for free. I'm not an influencer that basically has the luxury of getting all these, buying all of these devices, because it has to be an ROI, return on investment. If I get this, will it give me this amount? For a new company, not typically so, or smaller company, not typically. So I never used it, and I didn't go out of my way to buy it when it came out, finally available for me months later. But it is a phone that I am curious about. I actually know two higher up people in the company. I found out over CES, and yeah, so really cool, and very excited with the enthusiasm that they had. And it looks like we are going to be seeing the Nothing Phone 2 come to the US market. And they are, it seems, aiming for more of a flagship this time around in terms of a flagship price or higher end components. But it looks like they're heading for the Pixel 7 area. So more of a $600 to $800 price point, as opposed to a $500, $400 from their last phone, or a $1,000 like a Samsung or iPhone one. So I'm very curious to see where it will land. I do like Carl Pei a lot. I'm very interested to see if he actually does review a OnePlus phone. For those of you who don't know, he used to be part of OnePlus. He was one of the co-founders of OnePlus. Left because, you know, whatever, the company wasn't what he wanted anymore, or whatever kind of thing, with Oppo taking over basically. Started his own company and created the Nothing Phone, the Nothing Earbuds, and the Nothing, I don't know if they're called the Nothing Buds 2. But yeah, different designs and all of these kind of transparent, unique things. I'm very interested in this one. I'm very interested to see how it turns out. The biggest thing I think would be their camera quality, because Nothing Phone kind of followed the OnePlus philosophy, in my opinion, on the camera is decent. And that's it. That's kind of where they left the camera. As long as it's decent, it's fine. Everything else was given more attention to, whereas the camera being fine was all that they wanted, kind of thing. So yeah, I will say that overall, very interested to see how this phone turns out, and curious to see if you guys are interested in another phone around a $600 to $800 price range that is a flagship. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I'm interested to see what another company could do, for sure. All right, one product that I've been waiting so long for is an augmented reality, or hopefully more so an AR device from Samsung. I have been wanting Samsung smart glasses forever. I'm actually checking out the InReals right now. Let me know if you guys want a full review on this one. I am going to definitely do a YouTube short on this one. For those of you who don't know, I decided to do some YouTube shorts and some Amazon videos, quick videos on products that basically I will just say, should you buy it, and tell you the quick pros and cons in under 60 seconds. So if you want to see a fuller video though, let me know if you guys are interested in that. But these are devices that basically connect to a USB Type-C. So I've connected it to like my Steam Deck and to a smartphone, and I can use it as an external display, and it's augmented reality, so I can see through it if I want to. And that is what I'm really interested in. It's in AR glasses. Something that Apple just announced that they were, or not announced, that leaked that Apple was giving up on. So very interesting, right? But it really is curious that Samsung is indeed making another device, and it looks like it will have its own standalone device, kind of like the Meta, which is interesting because if I'm not mistaken, Samsung made a lot of the components for the Meta Quest 2. That could have changed, but I feel like they were instrumental in helping build that device, just because of their experience with the older Gear VRs that Samsung used to have. So very curious to see Samsung enter back into this market. Obviously, they were one of the pioneers in it with the Gear VR headsets, but I want this to end up in augmented reality, so I'm all for this being a step closer. So very excited. Hopefully, we'll hear something about some smart glasses within a year of Samsung. I'm hoping for something with the Fold launch, but I just might still be having too much of an early hope on it. We'll have to wait and see. All right, and then the last one is kind of an update, but I also just kind of wanted to hear what you guys think about this. YouTube has launched co-hosting live streams. It has arrived on Android and iOS. So basically, you can use your phone as a webcam and just go live essentially with it. Now you can also do this from a computer as well. But I am just curious: is there anyone who you would want to see on Mobile Weekly? Maybe in the next coming weeks, maybe we could do a collab. Let me know in the comment section if there's anyone you think I should work with, and also tag me on Twitter. Tag me on Twitter or Instagram, and let me know, hey, I think you should totally do a Mobile Weekly episode with this influencer. Let me know. I do know more and more of them now. I will say it's been really cool getting to meet a lot of the influencers that I had seen videos of, that apparently watched me when they were younger, which is kind of interesting, and then ones that I've idolized for a long time. So it's cool getting to meet more, but I'm curious on if there's any influencers you would want me to possibly reach out to and talk to them about being on Mobile Weekly with me and co-live streaming. Let me know in the comments. Again, if there's anyone you could think of or would want to see it with. And obviously, if you're going to say something like, oh, MKBHD, you know, or Lou from Unbox Therapy or Linus Tech Tips, I mean, that would be great. But obviously, let's be a little bit more realistic, because they would have no reason to come on and co-live stream with me. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. All right, now let's get to your questions. And there has been a lot of them going in the chat. All right, and again, I do apologize. My throat is kind of going down on me as we continue on, but I'll try my best. All right. Let's see. Hello. Hey Ricky, how are you? Samsung's trading, man. Gave me $350 for the Note 20 Ultra. Yep, that's why that was one of the things I wanted to address right away. First hidden feature video on the S23 is up, yes, and I did find out more since then, so yeah, I will be doing a full hidden feature tips and tricks as soon as I get the phone. I've already decided to take the 17th off of work just so I can make sure to get you content right away. I have the Galaxy S20 FE 5G. Should I get the new phone? Like I said, so I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, would you upgrade to the S23, the normal edition, if you're going from the FE, or did you want more of a phone with a bigger screen, or even the top of the line? That's obviously going to factor in a lot of things. Just like I said earlier, you will have a better battery life. Obviously, you're going to have a faster device. You're definitely going to have a better camera. That's probably the biggest thing you'll notice, is the cameras are going to be much better than what you had currently. And also just a more better looking UI. UI has changed a lot over. And what UI is essentially the look of the phone and the design of it. It's going to move quicker, move smoother, and definitely just be overall a better fit for most people, and just in terms of what you want in a phone typically. So better battery, better camera, faster, more fluid device, and a brighter screen outdoors. That will be, I think, the things you would notice most coming from the S20 FE to the S23. All right, my iPhone Pro Max, 10 hours plus screen on time out of the box. S23 better be as good. I mean, you're not a heavy user, because I killed the iPhone Pro, not the Max, granted, but I killed that thing in like, what, 6 hours? But again, I do heavy usage on all my tests. I always try to do the heavy usage so that people know what it's like doing that. It is a little bit trickier on iOS because iOS can't multitask, or in other words, split screen, like Android phones can. But even doing the pop-up screen on the iPhone definitely drained it so much quicker when doing, again, more things of heavier usage in comparison. I think the iPhone is great standby time. It probably has one of the best standby times. But yeah, when I found of it actually using it, it definitely drained quicker in most cases. So again, everyone's uses varies, depends how you use it as well. What people care about is Apple and Android. Yeah, of course. If you're going to stick with it, you're going to stick with it. It's always the case. That Gohan Strand. There you go. What will you title your future video that will have your battery tips? Watching since the first phone, LG G6. Nice. I usually do tips and tricks on how to make it faster and longer battery life. Let me see, just real quick, what the last one was. Because I kind of go off of the last one. Yeah, so S23 tips and tricks, longer battery life and much faster. That's probably what the name will be of it. It's very searchable and all that good stuff. Which video will include camera trips too? So that one will be called How to Take the Best Photos and 4K Video. S23, How to Take Best Photos and Best 4K Video. Ricky, I'm getting the S23 Ultra instead of waiting to hear, till the end of the year. Oh, I think you were the one who was saying that, right? That originally you thought you were going to wait till the end of the year, and I guess now you're going to go for it. There you go. Trade-in values lowered. Oh, snap. Yep, they sure did. Hey, a whole bunch of questions flooded. Everybody drink. Let's see. Is this a new pen gate? No, not as strong as pen gate or battery gate. But no, it is something that a lot of people are upset with. Should try my Flip 3 to T-Mobile. They will give me $1,000 for it. So I would have to upgrade to the Magenta plan, which is $100 more a month for me. So for me, that doesn't make sense. Just because obviously, although I would gain a couple hundred, I would quickly pay that more. So if you're already on the Magenta Max plan, yes, T-Mobile has an insanely good deal right now where basically most trade-ins will give you $1,000. So that one is really good if you're on the T-Mobile Magenta Max plan. And again, another one if you are on Google Fi and you transfer your phone number to Google Fi, I'm pretty sure they give you like $600 without any trade-in, and then you give them a trade-in on top of that, so you probably will get your phone for free. So those are two really good ones for different carriers. Trade-in value is the only reason I haven't pre-ordered the S23 Ultra yet. $550 for the iPhone 13 Pro Max is BS. I agree. You could probably sell that for way more online and then just put your money towards that. Like I said, the one website that I've had really good experience with, and I never have gotten the affiliate links for them, so I don't even get paid for recommending them or anything like that. But it's just like I think it's something like it's worth more. Yeah, right here. So right here, it's worth more. I'll drop it in the chat again. I don't even get affiliates from this, but it's just a good website to see how much your trade-in value might be selling outside. Had a really good experience with them. Have only sold 2 phones through them, but I would say for Samsung and iPhone, they're worth it. For lower tier, or not lower tier, for not as enticing brands, so you might not get your money's worth for it. So that would be my recommendation. All right. Let's see. Trade in your phone. Let's see. I'm happy with my S22 Ultra. I'll wait till next year. Totally understand that. Trade your phone in, but don't send it. And when they ask you for it, sell the phone in the meantime, pay $550, they bill you in 2 weeks later. That is definitely a possibility. Yeah, if you can get more money for it, then do that way. If the battery and camera is your main concern, then yes, upgrade. If you're a casual user, that just wait a little longer, and it will probably be a better deal for the trade-in value. It definitely might be a better trade-in deal. That is possible. However, it's never happened before. The whole thing that every influencer was saying, and I know because I was watching everyone's content like before it came out, and we all said the same thing. The trade-in value is the highest ever during the pre-order time. You will never get a higher value for the trade-in than during the pre-order time. So, by that logic, it is the best time to get it now. And that's been every single year. Like every single sale, every single Samsung from the S series to back in the Note series days, it was always a higher trade-in value during the first week of pre-orders. You would never get a higher trade-in value. I don't care if it was Christmas. I don't care if it was Prime Week. I don't care what day it was. That was it. Could that change? Of course, everything could change. It could be possible entirely. It never has happened before. Doesn't mean it won't. It just means that it never has. So could it happen later? Yes. But the reason why that people say that not only is it worth it, or if as you say, you're a casual user, well, the longer you wait, the lower your value is. It's always best to find the right time when you can get the most for your phone, when your phone is most valuable, and then buy a new phone. It's just like a car, just like a house. And trust me, I'm a real estate agent. I know these things. You want to make sure that's maximized. Like, I'm already looking at selling my car because the trade-in value I have for it is good, and I've taken really good care of it. And it's better to trade it in before, as an EV, the battery technology gets too old to where it's not as wanted anymore. So I'm already making this line of, okay, when is the right time to trade it in? It's best value I can get while buying a new one, not at an inflated price. That's what I've been going through this entire time. Same thing in this scenario. You want to get the most trade-in value for your current product while getting it. So what some people will do is they'll wait. Oh, I don't need to get a phone for 4 years. That's great. Your phone's trade-in value after 4 years is like $100, $200, despite what phone you have, because it has lowered in the value so much. And there's been so many other ones that are better than it, then they're like in the more mid-range and entry-level price range. So that's what you always have to kind of try to find. Now, of course, you do this with multiple things in life, and some things are not very worth it to you. So you don't care if that happens. But that's always, if you want to get your peak trade-in value and get your phone, you kind of want to make sure that it lines up as best possible. You always want to maximize your money, essentially. All right. Let's see. Where was that one? Pre-order is going in. I feel like a dope. Didn't occur to me to do that. Yeah. So what Muhammad said basically was just like, you can trade in, right? So say if I wanted to try to sell the Flip 4 and I feel like I can get more than 400 for it. I know one friend recommended Facebook Marketplace. You can typically get more money for it. So if I wanted to, if I think I can get more than 400 I literally have it in my drawer. If I think I can get more than $400 for this phone that's been in my drawer for a while now, haven't really used it. So if I think I can get more for this phone by trading in or selling it online, I could basically sell it online. Say I sell it for $600, right? Samsung will bill me an extra $400 because I didn't send them the phone to trade in. But that's fine because I actually got more money by selling it to someone else. So that is a possibility. All right. They were very limited on what you could do with your 150 as well. Oh no, Chad, that is a trick, by the way. So this is what you can do for anyone who is wondering. So let me go ahead and I'll go to Samsung's website. Oh, nope. Hold on one second. Just gonna sign in. Okay. So Chad was saying like, oh, they were very limited on what you could do with your trade-in. No, don't get caught up in that. So basically, right, if I just scroll down, no trade-in, and I have 150, or in this case, 100 in credit because I'm only getting the plus instead, or the regular instead of the ultra. So I can go and I can say pre-order now, right? Totally do that. And you're thinking that you can only get these products. No, you can skip add-ons right here. Skip add-ons, go to checkout, and then go to all these pop-ups. Oh my god. Okay. Then while that's in the cart, I might have taken out the cart because it was trying to load a whole bunch of stuff. But while it's there, you can then go to like mobile and accessories or tablets or whatever, and then add whatever you want, and it will still give the 100 credit in the cart. So that's how you can kind of get around it. Is basically add whatever you want, and it'll take the $100 around it. It's a wonky way of doing it, but if you didn't know, that's the way to get around that little thing. All right. Question: is your personal opinion it would be a downgrade or an upgrade to go from a Z Fold 4 to an S23 Ultra? The S23 Ultra is better in the two things I said. I'm going from a Z Fold 4 to an S23 Ultra. The S23 Ultra has a better camera, better battery life. No argument about it. That's just fact. In terms of productivity, in terms of what you like, that's completely opinionated. Bigger screen on this one. I'm going to miss this bigger screen. Built-in S Pen on the other one. I like the S Pen really a lot. That is something that I really missed while having this one. So that's going to be a debate between you and yourself and figuring out what matters to you on a phone. But there are some things that are definites, and there are some things that basically, are going to be like, yeah, it may not be right. So depends on what you think. All right. What do you think Samsung does with all the phone trade-ins? I don't see a place to buy refurbished direct from them. Yeah, they do actually have a certified usually if you go to offers or outlets, they have like they have ones that have been certified. So, well, that's the outlet. But yeah, they do have, let's see, mobile, smartphones. I don't know if they have it anymore. They definitely had it before where you can get like a certified refurbished model from them. But they could also just sell it certified refurbished other places. They don't have to sell on their website themselves. But yeah, I don't know. There you go, certified renewed. So it took a little while to find it, but I had to go to all phones, then I had to go shop, certified renewed. So these are all phones that were probably traded in. And yeah, as you can see, they marked them up. So yeah. All right. Some of those are really not worth the price. Sorry, just looking at those. Let's see. It's okay, man. A friend of mine planned to buy the S22 Ultra, the higher price, and talked to Samsung today. Confirm this process. Best of luck. Yeah. Question: in your personal... Oh, yeah. Sorry, I answered that one already. So if T-Mobile gives me $1,000 for my Flip 3, should I get the Fold 4 or the S23 Ultra? By the way, hope you're good. Um, I'm not got COVID for the second time. I've still not gotten that, which is amazing because I have so many friends and family that have gotten it multiple times now. And I don't know how I've dodged it the entire time. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. Um, Again, now don't get into politics in the chat. But basically, with T-Mobile giving you 1,000, I would personally get the S23 Ultra. I think it's just so good. But I've had the luxury of having the Fold as well. So for me, I think yeah, I prefer having the better battery, having the better camera, and having my S Pen. It's a easy go for me. Now I'm trading in my Flip 4 instead of my Fold 4 because I wanted to keep my Fold a little bit longer because there's so many times when I miss having both. Right? I like having a Fold, and I like, or at least the option. I like having the option of the Fold and um and the S series. So it's always a thing of both. Like I miss the Fold when I have the S series. I miss the S series when I have the Fold. But overall, I do miss the S series more. I will say if I wasn't an influencer, I would be getting the S series. So yeah. And again, that's my opinion. Doesn't mean you have to go with it. You want the Fold more? Go with the Fold. I have the luxury of having had both. So I don't take that for granted. Like I feel like a lot of influencers tend to. Over 40 contractors for YouTube Music are going on strike, first at Google, according to Alphabet's worker union. Contractors for YouTube Music going on strike. I have not heard about this. It's very interesting. What do you mean by contractors? Is that like people that are working on it, or music artists that were contracted for YouTube Music and their music? I'm curious on that. I would imagine it's contract meaning, but it's contractors. They're not internal. I don't know. I'm very curious what that means exactly. Make sure honey and tea for your throat. Yeah, I think I'm gonna definitely get some tea after this. I'm gonna stop by my local Starbucks. Actually, my wife has a new tea machine. Maybe I should have that too. Let me back up. SmartThings needs a new standalone hardware hub because of Matter, the new smart home hub standard that Samsung founded alongside Apple, Google, and Amazon, and other companies that. Well, it's just this: the old hubs weren't Matter certified, and they didn't have the upgrades that Matter requires now. So yes, now there's multiple things you can know about that. One, most Samsung smart TVs are going to have the hub built in, and I believe anything from 22 and newer is going to be Matter certified. I could be wrong, but I do think that those were made with it in mind. And two, there is this thing. If you want a simple solution for it, this is a the new Samsung SmartThings hub. And instead of being like my hub, which is connected into my router, Ethernet, and all that stuff, this one just is Wi-Fi, and it's a wireless charger. Plus, it works as an NFC tag. So when I set a phone down there, it could turn down the lights. It could turn on my lights outside because it knows that I'm charging and it's nighttime or whatever. But yeah, this is a new SmartThings hub. We did get this for free at Unpacked, so that was cool that I got that. But it is not only Matter certified, which you can kind of see right here. It is not only Matter certified, but Zigbee, Waves, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth, like everything certification you can need. But yeah, you have all that in there, and plus 15 watt wireless chargers. So that's kind of cool. So I would say they have the best hub out there. Although I do think having a hub is kind of dated at this point. But yeah, that's why it didn't. And I'm not saying you're wrong for thinking that. I totally agree with it. But yeah. HU Tech, totally not biased. Yeah, I mean HU Tech, you know, obviously long term friend. It was one of the officials at my wedding. So yeah, I might have a bias towards him. Hey, a whole bunch of questions just loaded. Everybody drink. Do Josh Vergara and Joshua Quinones? He's a beast. All videos on this one. I do know both Josses actually. I will talk to Josh. I don't know Josh Quinones as well. I've met him a couple times and all that stuff. Josh Vergara, have seen him at a couple events recently. I did see him at Unpacked. Had this funny thing happen where it's just a funny story of someone thought he was Brian Tong, and a fan went up to him and saying like, "Oh, I love your stuff," and he thought it was Brian Tong instead of Joshua Gar, and Jaime and a couple other were just like, "Hey, look, it's Brian Tong," and so even I was like. I patted him on the back like, "Hey, did you hear Brian Tong's over here?" And we were making fun of it, but love both those guys actually. Um, but yeah, it's Josh is awesome. Both Joshes are really cool. But yeah, Josh Q, I will say I cannot believe he does everything on his phone. I've always thought that was crazy. I gave him the most props for it back when I first met him. And yeah, Joshua Vergara is one of the chillest guys I met in a long time in terms of a guy that knows his stuff and is just so cool. So yeah, I'll maybe I'll reach out to either one of them. Like, hey man, they were asking for it, so see how his time's like. I know he does his own weekly thing, and obviously he's very busy doing this full time. So we'll see. YouTube is rolling out collaboration features that allows two users to live stream together, go live together. That's what I was talking about actually. First introduced in November for specific people, but as per a recent tweet from YouTube, yeah. So it's gone more widespread now. So there's certain features that have happened that not everyone got. So I'll use me and HU Tech as a prime example. So he got the ability to get super thanks, like I want to say 6 months to almost a year before me, meaning that someone could give you a donation on any video. I didn't have that till like I think literally September, maybe I finally got it. And I for over a year had the shopping feature, which was basically that I could put products that were in my video and people could click on the link and buy them. So all of those were in beta, but different YouTube influencers got them. So yeah, it just depends on the feature that not everyone gets all of them. So yeah. All right, let's see. Whoa, a whole bunch of questions started. Everybody drink. All right. Is the camera upgrade better on only the S23 Ultra or on all S23 models? So all of them have gotten a good amount of upgrades, but definitely the S23 Ultra has the most upgrades to its cameras. Um, it is the one that I would say would be the biggest difference. Now, I will say the S23 and S23 Plus are a big enough difference from the S21 that it would be, again, a well worth upgrade for the camera quality, and then your battery is going to be much better too. But from the S22 to the S22, or sorry, from the S22 to the S23 and S22 Plus to the S23 Plus, it's not as big of a camera upgrade compared to the two Ultras from 22 to 23. So yeah, hopefully that helps you out a little bit, but depends on what you're upgrading from, of course. NVIDIA GeForce users can download an app profile to update app profile update for Discord. Oh, cool. Sorry, my nose is stuffy too. I'm upgraded from the OnePlus 7 Pro to the S23 Ultra. I think the phones are starting to last longer and longer, excluding the battery, and it needs to be replaced at some point. Yeah, I mean, always your battery life has a cycle count, so when you hit that cycle count, it will never reach 100% again. So it'll always drain, drain, drain. That's why if you've had a phone for over 2 years, typically, your phone will die typically at 10% or 15%, even though it told you it's still at 10 or 15% left. And that's because your cycle count has already maxed out, so it's never able to get to 100%, but your phone will tell you it's at 100%. So it's a confusing thing, but basically, yeah, it's never going to be at that percentage again because you've had it for too long and cycle count has reached its max. So it's now draining less and or draining quicker and quicker to the point where all the cells in that battery cannot charge like they did before. Is there a way to be seen as online in Microsoft Teams? Yeah, you click your status and then you can change it on Microsoft Teams. Kind of a random question, Quiet Storm, but yes, you can definitely do that. Have you ever got a phone from T-Mobile Insurance and it's bad? I got a Flip 3 because I broke the screen and then they sent me one and it's a broken frame. I would tell them immediately and send that back. Like, that is something that I would not wait on. I would just go like immediately and try to get that done. The worst thing you could ever do, I will say, is wait on things like that. Like, that's something that if it happens, change it right away. And this is coming from a person that used to be a manager at a Best Buy at a Circuit City, and I can't tell you how much I would feel bad, but at the same time, like, I would literally have customers coming to me over a year after they bought a product, and like, well, it hasn't worked since day one. Sir, we had a 30-day return policy. If you would return it then, no problem. Hey, we're also a repair center for this manufacturer, so we could have covered you under the 1-year manufacturer warranty. But you came a year and a half after you bought the product, and you're telling me, oh, well, it hasn't worked since day one. If you would have came back day one, we wouldn't have had a problem. But you came back a year and a half later. So yeah, those are the kind of things, like, I will say you just want to do it as quick as possible. Samsung nerfed the trade-in values. Oh, yeah, no, I talked about that at the beginning of it. Is the battery much better on the S23 Ultra than the S22 Ultra? Yes, 2 to 3 hours longer. And that's before I get to it, before I do all my tips and tricks. 2 to 3 hours out the box. It's longer battery life. Where should I sell my S22 Ultra? I put a link earlier in the chat called, what is it called again? I always forget. It's Worth More. And that's a pretty good website that gives you fair pricing. But, I mean, obviously, if you sell it to a person, you can typically get more. I have a friend that swears by Facebook Marketplace, and they say they get a lot of money for their stuff there. So it just depends, yeah. Let's see. Where are we at now? I'm content with my current S22 Ultra. I think I'll wait for the S24 or look into the Fold 4. Absolutely. Swappa is good for selling eBay, Mercari. I haven't heard about Mercari, but definitely have done eBay and Swappa for sure in the past. I had a Fold 3 and scene always felt, in the, I'm guessing seam you meant, always feel. Oh, I had the Fold 3 and the screen always felt, front screen always felt small, but I know the Fold 4 is a bit bigger. A bit. Yeah, it's more wider than anything else. And I'm hoping we keep going with that into the next Fold. Man, though, that Pixel one that could be coming out, the Pixel Fold, if it's true, oh, I will buy that in a heartbeat. But yeah. All right. Is there a link to the phone stand? I can come up with one pretty quickly. Let me see. Samsung accessories. So oops. There we go. Here is a link to this. I think that's what you were talking about, right? The Samsung station. If you were talking about something else, let me know. All right. And let's see. Hopefully, new Gorilla Glass is not a micro scratch magnet. No, the scratches. What is it? I mean, it does scratch more than Sapphire. Sapphire and Gorilla Glass are always interesting because Sapphire scratches way less but cracks way easier. Gorilla Glass cracks way less but scratches easier. This is the first one with Victus 2, so we'll see how good the Gorilla Glass is on this one. I have the same flavor of Propel water. Yeah, man. I always, if Propel could sponsor me, that would be great. Kiwi strawberry is what I always drink. Am I crazy for not wanting to get rid of my S21? No. If you don't need to upgrade, you don't need to upgrade. Don't ever let anyone push you into upgrading. It's just I always get the question: is it worth upgrading? Is it worth it? Yes. Yes, it is. Like it's worth upgrading to this one from what I've seen for the S23 Ultra. Does that mean you should? No, that's two different things. But when people ask me, is it worth it? I can honestly say with this one, yes. Yeah, it is. All right. I always wait 2 years to get the S24 Ultra as well. Yeah. Again, everyone's gonna upgrade at their own pace, dude. Still on my Note 8, seems like the S23 Ultra is a worthy model to go to. It is. I will say it is. Family is wondering if it is possible. That's mainly why I ask. Oh, yeah. So you click on your icon and then you can change your status. That's where it is typically. Um, LOL. Oh, should call tech support 1-900 Ricky. Tech questions only $9.99 a minute. There you go. Call them right away and they asked me to send it back, and they're sending me a new one. Awesome. Yeah, for sure. Um, Thank you for doing this live stream. Of course, always here for you guys. And I tried to. I wasn't feeling good, so I was thinking about canceling, but I was like, no, man, I gotta check in with everybody because I love talking to you guys. It's always fun. T-Mobile assuring on FYI, I broke my S22 screen. To get it replaced, they don't control over the frame color replacement. You get now. I have a black back and green frame. Interesting. That's kind of interesting. I haven't gone through T-Mobile Asurion. I wonder, couldn't you just go to an Asurion store if you have one by you? So if you didn't know, Asurion bought You Break I Fix. So they can typically fix it there with the parts they have there. So you don't even always have to ship it now. So if you ever check out You Break I Fix in your area, that was purchased by Asurion. So they can typically fix it in-house instead of needing to ship it at all. Or they'll ship it for you if they don't have the parts there. You still rocking my S9 Plus. Didn't want to let go of micro SD card and headphone jack. I think my USB Type C port is going bad. Keeps telling me there's moisture when there isn't. I have seen that bug before. It definitely does happen. I haven't had it happen to my phone personally, but friends and family have had it happen. So yeah, I've for sure seen that before. How do I connect to a wireless headset to a Samsung TV? You go into all settings, sound, and then like connections, and it's like Bluetooth connections, and that's how you can connect it through Bluetooth. If it can connect through Bluetooth, I can't do through Wi-Fi pretty much, but it can do Bluetooth. How good would a smart toaster have to be? Oh man, smart toaster have to be for 51st stations. Yeah, oh man, I've been wanting a smart toaster. I will say I'm finally getting the peeling. We're done with the dusting at the top of the kitchen, so the kitchen should finally be photo ready by next weekend. Is what I'm hoping. 51st Date Questions. It is time for my shameless plug. 51st Date Questions is an app that I created where you can ask your significant other or a person you're on a date with a question. Find out if you're compatible. You ask them a question, they ask you a question, you find out about each other and find out if you're really meant to be. If not, then, at least you know. 51st Date Questions available on Android and iOS. And the link's in the description. All right. Let's see. What other things do we have? I'm going to upgrade my S10 to the or sorry, my S9 to the S10. There you go. Always upgrade to what you need, not what you want. Always. Um, I didn't. No, pair them. Don't see them. Oh yeah, and you have to put your headset in pairing mode too. So figure out how to put your headset in pairing mode if it doesn't see it. Um, yeah, Carl's kind of helping you out. Steel Series, yeah, it should be fine. Yeah, T-Mobile Assurance is bad. They always send you trash in the phone screen. Yeah, maybe if you're going through T-Mobile Assurance, try to go to an Assurance store. They might be able to help you out there. Like Google built-in insurance was going to use Assurance, so they just fixed it in store, and I got a one-time screen replacement for my mother-in-law when she cracked her screen, so it was great. Um, does the S23 have shutter lag issue? It does have shutter lag, more so when it gets higher megapixels, so 200 megapixel and 50 megapixel. It was longer shutter lag than the regular camera. Is it an issue? No, because most of the reviewers haven't found there is a hidden feature on what to prioritize, and most of them are on quality and not balance or speed. But that you'll find out in the how to improve your camera quality on the S23. Because yes, I did see that at Impact. All right. Let's see. Insurance was based on parts in stock. The catch used screen, they have no control of the frame attached to it. Yeah, and that's why I said like if you actually go to it, they usually have parts there, so they might fit. They might have the parts that they have there, and that might fit in with what you have. But yeah, if you had like a different kind of phone, it would be a thing. Um, how do the three cameras work on the S10? You would honestly have to go back to my S10 videos, just because it's been a minute. I have not used an S10 for a while, but I did have a lot of stuff on there for sure when the S10 came out. So go ahead and check out my S10 videos, and I have a lot of tips and tricks videos on how to make the camera quality better and all that kind of stuff. Trust me, they're there. But unfortunately, 6 months later, I'm always on to like at least 3 or 4 different phones that I've reviewed since then, so I forget legit what happens. Should Samsung have gone with the 1-inch sensor? So, I am very excited about the 1-inch sensor. Absolutely. Totally would love to see that. Here's the thing though. The phones that have this 1-inch sensor, I would argue, do not have near the software that Samsung, Google, and Apple have. So, legit taking a better quality out the box if all things were created equal and no one was really talking software. Because there is software based, and because we've seen Google stayed ahead of everyone with camera quality with software alone for 3 years. Yeah, software does a lot. Um, I think that I'm hoping that Samsung brings back some kind of camera like they did before, like the Galaxy camera back in the day, Galaxy Camera 2. And that has the 1-inch sensor on it. I have no way of thinking like that's for sure going to happen. But I think there's enough appetite out there for it to happen. And that 1-inch sensor is, yeah, it's the same sensor that I'm filming with right now. That is on my Sony Alpha APS-C camera, the EV10. If I'm not mistaken, that's the same 1-inch sensor that's on there. So yeah, it is a really good sensor. It's awesome, and I do think that at the end of the day, it would have been better. It would have been better. But they didn't go that route. Probably number one because they don't make that one, and they probably were like, "Hey, we can save millions of dollars by not going with that one." But hopefully they'll be able to develop their own. So very curious to see what happens. But again, I love competition. Different ways of taking photos, different ways of all this kind of stuff. Like we had dual pixel autofocus and we had laser autofocus when Samsung and LG came out. Two entirely different technology. Dual pixel was made superior. It won those wars in terms of focusing. But the fact that we had two different technologies, Apple using LiDAR versus everyone else using time of flight sensors. LiDAR was better. People got rid of time of flight sensors, started using LiDAR sensors. These kind of competitions on dueling technologies is awesome because we get a better technology at the end of the day. One person's going to win. One person's going to win. And then we all move forward. So I love that. I absolutely love different technologies competing at the same time. Is priority mode backwards compatible with the S22 Ultra? I don't have an S22 Ultra, so I can't look it up. And the Fold does not have as many pro modes as standard. So I don't know. My guess is it will be. Back in the days when I went to Sprint, I wanted to fix the Evo. Always had the one, always wanted in red, and the guy at the store put the red frame. I miss those days. Yeah, it was nice. Good times. What do you do with old phones? How many do you have lying around? I don't actually. I typically sell my phones. Like any phones that are past a year, I really don't have that many phones that I keep around. So in my little drawer over here, I have a Flip 4. I have the TCL 30 V 5G. I have this phone just because I never wanted to give this one up. I probably should have sold it, but this was like the ZTE Z20. It was still just one of my favorite phones because it had screens on both sides, and I still love this concept and still want to do well. But yeah, those are the only phones I have besides my two main daily drivers right now, these two. All the other phones I've either sold, given to friends, family. Like I gave mother-in-law the Pixel Pro 6A. I gave that to a friend. Like all these different all these different ways I've given phones, but I don't usually keep them past a year typically. Also, how come the S10 doesn't have the iris scanner anymore? Yeah, the iris scanner went away. That was the one where they went with the fingerprint into the screen, if I'm not mistaken. Will Samsung catch up to Chinese brands when it comes to charging speeds? Samsung is very cautious of batteries, if you can believe it or not. That's why they they're not super into the idea of doing the fastest charging possible because yeah, they're worried about that. Plus, phone that has an IR blaster. I miss phones that have IR blasters. I always do. Yes. Oh yeah, and the TCL 20 Pro is my phone that always stays in my backpack. I did forget about that one because this one does have the old IR blaster in there, and I always do that so I can take over any TV at a hotel. So yes, that one always stays there. It's like Tech Star Wars. Who will be the one that has the high ground? Yes, it's always the one that has the high ground. All right, guys. I think we will call that a show. Went a little over an hour. Thank you guys always so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. If you can, before you go, please hit that like button and watch some of our videos, especially those new short videos. They're under a minute, but every watch, every thumbs up on those videos, every comment on those videos really does help out. So I really would appreciate it. If you can, go ahead and watch those. And yeah, really do appreciate it on there. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you next week. And make sure to check out all the content we have coming out this week. Some good stuff. This has been RCKY, the YouTube Tech Guy.